Welcome to the life and times of Enzo Favara, a young man from Sicily who recently escaped from a dangerous life in the sulfur mines, only to end up in multiple gang-related shootouts. In the last video I did on this game, he basically escapes from the clutches of a ruthless crime boss, only to end up in the hands of another. The year is 1905, and it's a beautiful day to relax in the sun with a newspaper, trying to catch up on current events because Enzo's not loaded like the people he works for, so he actually has to give a shit. He's also getting rocks thrown at him by the Don's nephew Cesare, and as I revisit the footage of this playthrough from almost a year ago now, there's a certain resemblance I just can't unsee here. Anyway, Baron Fontanella rocks up with his son Gennaro, and they're welcomed with open arms by Don Teresi. The Baron's all like, "Yo, what's up, big dog? This is my unmarried son Gennaro, who wants to visit some shitty old temple with your daughter Isabella. I'm also the most powerful man in Sicily, what do you say?" Don Teresi then responds by saying, "Yeah, nah, of course you'll go with him, look at the chemistry between these two. Wouldn't it be kinda cute if they got married, ultimately joining our families and making us both the most powerful men in Sicily?" Enzo and Cesare are instructed to keep them safe, emphasizing that the Don needs the state to go well, despite Gennaro's game being worse than sending her a wave on Facebook Messenger. Like the video if you agree that sending her a wave is the way to have her weak at the knees for you. Nah, obviously I'm kidding, I wouldn't actually know if this works, I've never even felt the touch of a woman before. So Gennaro tries to entice Isabella with a ride in the whip, in a way that practically screams I'm the owner of a micro-penis, so she politely says nah fuck that and opts to go by horseback instead. Cesare wants to ride shotgun, so he tells me to escort her to our destination, leaving us to take the scenic route together instead. It's so beautiful out here that Isabella has to stop and teach us how to use a camera for the first time. And while doing so, she takes the opportunity to feel up Enzo's shoulder, so now that he's finally felt the touch of a woman, he's no longer a video game protagonist I can relate to. I try my best with the composition and lighting, only for the picture to still come out looking rather shit. I mean, it is 1905, it's not exactly like I can just post it on Instagram, tag Isabella in it, and let people know that I actually do leave the house and meet new people. Anyway, we catch up with Gennaro, so he whines about her being late, and then he hits her with, well, what I guess he thought was a pickup line.
A girl with a camera. Whatever next?
I don't know, Gennaro. A boy with manners.
It's not what I... Let's start again, eh?
Wow, just imagine the sparks that'll be flying between these two. So off they go to ask each other fascinating things like what's your favorite color, how many pets do you have you got any hobbies, do you know your attachment style, and what's your body count? Cesare decides it's time to take the car for a joyride, and he even wants me to be the one behind the wheel, which is really just our introduction to driving in this game. Realistically, he'd never put his life in the hands of a mine boy like that, especially when he has the chance to finally drive it himself. Enzo's also never driven a car before, the same way he never used a camera or felt the touch of a woman till today, so hey, what's one more life experience? Our fun wouldn't last though, because we're ambushed by some bandits, and Enzo, with his lack of driving experience, performs a tactical quick-thinking maneuver by parking up on one of these dudes. I shoot my way through them until I see Isabella and Gennaro being kidnapped by the bandit leader. Isabella actually pits back and shows a little resistance, while Gennaro on the other hand puts up about as much fight as a blind paraplegic kid. Cesare pulls up in the whip though because we can't let them take Isabella, and we hurry on after them in a frustratingly low-speed car chase. Enzo decides he's bored and jumps out of the car with Cesare still driving, hopping onto this conveniently timed horse galloping beside us. I get hit with some reinforcements, but honestly their aim is so bad, they couldn't even hit Dan Schneider from 5 children's feet away, so catching up to the kidnapping cart was relatively easy. Enzo jumps for it, performing the sickest dodge and counter throw you've ever seen, while the driver grows tired of his men's incompetence and takes out his frustrations on Gennaro with a flatline KO. As old matey loses his patience and goes for the gun, we manage to grab Isabella before he fires and throw ourselves off the wagon. He doesn't even go back for us either. After all, he only came to kidnap Gennaro, so good on him for knowing when to cut his losses. Isabella is absolutely soaking right now, and while premarital kissing is a gateway to further unholy sin, surely the good Lord will see that this one was earned and let it slide this one time. The moment's cut short, however, when cockblocker Cesare pulls up, thankfully too distracted by his cousin's kidnapping to notice anything else. Enzo decides he's going after the rest of the bandits, risking his life just to bring back Gennaro. I mean, what a fucking idiot. It's not like the Baron can't afford the ransom, and looking at the state of these guys' camp, they probably need the money anyways.
Somebody get these beggars out of here!
But as any moral and dutiful Christian does, I gun down all the poor people and make my way over to hesitantly untie the rich dude's son. On the way out, the bandit leader confronts us with a shotgun, and even though he could empty some shells into us at any second, Enzo really suggests a knife fight that the big boy for some reason agrees to. After all the slashing and parrying and bringing of knives to gunfights, we return to the villa and the Baron is totally relieved to see his son alive and well. Don Teresi brings up the fact that we were supposed to keep Isabella and Gennaro safe, but he also appreciates how we made amends, so all is well, I guess. Later on, Enzo visits Isabella in the church, concerned that she might have told someone about their kiss because the Don has urgent matters to discuss. We visit the Don, and he can't thank us enough for saving Isabella, but also can't get over the disrespect from a man named Ludovici. Turns out Ludovici's a disgruntled business partner of the Baron, and it was he who planned the kidnapping that Isabella got caught up in. If it was just Gennaro, we'd let it slide, but because Isabella got involved, the Teresi family have to resolve this matter in a totally civil way by having me sneak into Ludovici's villa at night and kicking open his doors to really send a message. Old matey puts up as much fight as Conor McGregor's right ACL, so we knock him out with this bust he just tried to use on us and soon find ourselves cornered by a massive wave of security. Ludovici also escapes amid the chaos, so after making my way through the rest of his guards one by one, he ends up being hunkered down in the hay barn like an absolute bitch. I lay him out one more time for the love of the game, carry him to the car, and then we meet Tino as we prepare to wake him up before a majestic sunrise. Of course, Ludovici begs for his life, but Tino's commanded me to shoot him, so in an effort to reach some middle ground, I aim for the kneecap and we then cut to black. Turns out my efforts to play both sides would be in vain, because a couple of friendly hunters stumble across Ludovici the next day, and yup, that is quite a bit worse than crippling knee damage. Later that evening, Enzo finds the time to read a sweet little love letter from Isabella, at least that is before Cesare barges in, telling him he's needed elsewhere. Like it wasn't hard enough trying to get my 8 hours in this shitty old barn and maintain a forbidden love affair, now we're being summoned after hours. I'm a little worried they might have found out about that kiss with Isabella and that they're gonna take me to get whacked at sunrise like we did with Ludovici. To my relief though, it's just Cesare and Luca escorting me to the man cave. Don Teresi and the rest of the Mafia family have all gathered here, everyone all spruced up and nice, and they really went all out with the mood lighting in here. They offer Enzo a forever binding place in the family, emphasizing a strict NDA on how they conduct business and to not fuck the Don's daughter. At this point, it'd be pretty awkward if Enzo was just like, yeah, nah, I'm good, see you later, big man. So, yeah, no, of course he agrees to join, it's a Mafia game. Our boys officially onboarded, and with all that ritualistic crap out of the way, it was now time to get on the piss with the boys. So after downing 4 crates of liquor, Enzo and Cesare and Leo get behind the wheel, stop so that Cesare can take a piss off the bridge as a result of getting on the piss, and then continue on to hit the town. Once we get there, Cesare and Leo get acquainted with some of the lovely ladies, while Enzo, the man of the hour, proceeds to stay in his car all night and preserve that virginity like a dutiful Christian lad. The next morning, we're woken up by Cesare, and he's all like,
"Why are you gay?"
We breeze over that for now though, as Cesare drives us to our new crib, because after all we're a part of the Mafia now, so that old pigsty we've been sleeping in just won't cut it anymore. With that new promotion well and truly celebrated, but celebrated a little bit more by Cesare and Leo, Enzo has finally found the family he never had. It's a new year, a new dawn, and so comes new responsibilities as a man of the Mafia. In the time that's since passed, Don Spadaro has bought Ludovici's shares in the sulfur mine that Enzo was once enslaved to, making him close business partners with Baron Fontanella. Don Spadaro is now raking in more money than Elon Musk in 2026, and tensions with the Teresi family are ever intensifying, so we need to come up with a way to level the playing field. Every week at the docks of Port Almaro, there's a ship that regularly returns to and from America, and as it happens, Don Galante's gotten hold of an old currency press with the idea to print American money and open up a whole new business venture in Empire Bay. The only problem right now is that their best counterfeiter in Sicily is currently being held in captivity by the local military known as the Guardie, so we need to break him out. Don Galante can't stress enough, however, that we must avoid risking war with the Spadaros at all costs, and we need to be smart about this. I'll keep it brief, but basically we get a small tour of the Guardier station by a secret informant, Leo creates a distraction, I sneak into there all quietly, and break our counterfeiter free, who turns out to be none other than old matey Giuseppe from Mafia 2. The question you might be asking yourself is, where does all of this go wrong? Well, we're inevitably met with a swarm of Guardier soldiers that we can't sneak around, because why would any of this ever go according to plan? We shoot through enough of them to rank Enzo as one of the leading causes of death in Sicily, all of which leads to another knife fight with the station's leader, Major D'Amico. What the elegant fella recedes in hairline, however, he makes up for in combat skills, as he almost gets the upper hand. That is, until Leo and Cesare pull up to the rescue. We probably should have killed him for good measure. I mean, in the Mafia, you're not supposed to leave loose ends, so apologies to Don Galante for the spike in cortisol levels, as this is well and truly risking war with the Spadaros. After a long night of prison breaks, shootouts, and knife fights with balding middle-aged white dudes, Enzo returns home to find that someone's broken in. No need to panic though, it's just Isabella, who's helped herself in and started decorating. What are these double standards though? I mean, when Isabella does this, it's all sweet and romantic, but when I go to these lengths for someone I like, apparently it's a home invasion. Anyway, it looks like that rescue mission literally paid off, because Leo comes bearing good news and gifts. He shows us the result of their trade with Empire Bay, rewarding us with a hefty crate of the finest American school supplies and bulk packs of Marlboro Reds, so just like that, business is booming again. That'll have to do for now though. Huge thank you for watching as always. I've been meaning to make another video on this game for so long, so if you did get to the end, I really do appreciate it. The Man of Honor DLC is coming out very soon, so keep an eye out as I'd love to do a video on that one when it drops. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, comment something spicy for the algorithm, avoid getting into any knife fights, and I'll catch you next time.